Hi, and welcome to this week's Link4Growth news update. I'm Carol Dodsley, and I have with me Chris Ogle. Chris, come and say hello.
Yeah, hi Carol. Wow, what a week! There's there's a lot to get through today, and part of that is about how we're changing things going forward as well. But yeah, just absolutely manic week. Really, really exciting. Loads going on, real buzz going out there, and everyone's just gone ballistic this week. So lots to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. I know there's been a lot of launches last week. There's a lot of launches next week. It's sort of like all of a sudden somebody's let go of the elastic band and it's gone ping and it's just going everywhere, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, oh, you're having a drink. You're not supposed to have a drink when I'm about to ask you to say something. So tell us about those launches from last week.
Yeah, I mean, we had the launch of a district actually, which is the Cumbria and North Lancashire district with Jenny Braithwaite last week. This has been quite a long time in gestation, but we finally did actually launch, and Jerry really went across the Pennines, I think it is, to help Jenny with that first one, and I think it was just a question of getting it off the ground, and there's a lot of anticipation and anxiety attached with launching a thing, and I know that Jenny was feeling a little bit of help going up to Redcar the week before, and we actually got over the hurdle. So I think we're going to find that there's going to be some great things coming out of that district very soon. I know there's plans in place for other things that Jenny can get involved in. So really, really delighted for that. Really pleased it went well. And there are people there, people who are, and if Jenny, you're listening, people who are like everyone else around the country, wanting to go and meet other people locally. And Penrith is exactly the same as everywhere else. I know it's a long way north, but people do want to get together and talk to other local people. So onwards and upwards up there. So good one there.
And can I, just before you move on to the next one, just want to come in there with you talking about Jenny's event, to sort of just let people know how much interest there is in Link4Growth, because there was actually a lady who drove all the way down from Scotland, over 100 miles, to go to Jenny's event, because at the moment there is nothing in Scotland. She really wanted to know more. She really wanted to connect with people and actually go in person and talk to some of the district leaders, see what happens. And she potentially, I'm not going to mention her name yet because there's nothing been agreed, but she's potentially going to start up some events in Scotland. So I wanted to bring that up because people don't always realise that actually people really are interested and willing to drive long distances to find out more and bring it into their own local area.
Yeah, I mean, we had a new person at the market this morning in Watford, and the lady said, "Well, have you got anything in Edinburgh?" I said, we could well have, and she said, "I know someone who'd be very interested in Link4Growth up there." So we've got another connection up there to help speed the development in Scotland. So that's good news.
So we can put those two people together, and they can start talking, and maybe they can even work together to do the first launch up there.
Absolutely, and I know there's going to be other people pop up from that neck of the woods. So all good stuff up there. Islington CSR Luncheon. Now I try and get to all the launches I can, but I couldn't get to Penrith, and I couldn't get to Islington either. But Deep launched the luncheon there in Islington, one of the venues that we use for another type of event. I understand it all went very well, lots of interesting conversations there. So well done to Deepa for getting that one done. We then had Staith's drinks, and I think that was last night. So that's a collection of small villages really up in the Redcar, well, the Durham and North Yorks district. So well done, Jerry, and I think it was Billy. Is it Billy who's helped with that one? So big shout out for him. And also, afternoon tea is going on right now as we speak in Redcar as well at Mind, which is a local charity in the downtown Redcar, as it were. And they're keeping the place open for an extra couple of hours to accommodate Link4Growth bringing in people, and they've got like a real fab deal on sandwiches and cake and tea for about £4 or £5 or something. So really good, innovative event there. So 4 launches this week, and I think this is pretty much a taste of things to come, because next week we've got 3 launches. We've got L4G Curry, which is a launch of a new type of event, innovative thing there by Alex, who's getting that off the ground on Monday evening. So really looking forward to that. And then we've got coffee in Walthamstow. So that's part of the Waltham Forest Borough. So that's the second event we've got in that borough. And I was down at Chingford this week, and I was having a conversation with a guy down there. And we've got some interesting people coming along to the events there who are absolutely on the nail with Link4Growth thinking and want to help us get other events going. I think there's going to be, like, from that one meeting this week, another 4 launches going to happen over the next month or 2. So just going ballistic there, and it was good to catch up with Paul Violet, who's been away on various things during August, but he's back in town and he's raring to go, so that's good. And then we've got drinks in Gosforth this week coming in Newcastle with D20 that's the launch of a district. So I think there's a few of us going up there again to that neck of the woods to support D and actually get that off the ground. And I know D's got a lot of interest from a lot of people in the area there, and these are people who are quite influential in there, because she understands she can't get to everything as a district leader. She's got a huge district. It stretches from Berwick upon Tweed, which is like Scotland almost, all the way down to, including Sunderland and Newcastle and stuff. So massive district, and Consett, I think, is in her district as well. So a lot of travelling there. So she knows she's not going to get to everything. So she's bringing in people now to help support and grow things in these disparate towns, as it were. So quite a lot to look forward to next week, and it goes on and on through September in pretty much the same way.
I know there's so much happening that it's just difficult to keep up with it all, isn't it?
Well, I can't. I've given up, to be honest.
So, and it also means that there's more people stepping up and doing things to help this expansion, and I'm sure you've probably got some shout-outs.
I haven't, and the thing is that this week has been an amazing week, because as things have started to just like really accelerate, you begin to realise there is no way that you can know everything, and the capability to, if you like, continue the message on when you haven't got direct involvement yourself becomes crucial, because otherwise it gets distorted. The message of Link4Growth and why we're doing it becomes unclear, and people have no idea why they're going to a Link4Growth event and what's it all about. So we do have to be diligent about that, because expansion is fantastic, but you do need to keep that core message tight. Otherwise, 3 people down and we're doing business networking again, and we're not. You know what I mean? So it's really important for us during this massive growth stage that we've got the collateral and the mechanisms to enable people to pick up and keep being told the same thing about what Link4Growth is. So it's very clear, and we do continue to grow, but the right way, not the wrong way. So we've got some shout outs. I haven't really made a huge note of shout outs, but I want to give a shout out to Paul Violet this week, because he's been through what's been for him quite a challenging August, really. Well, there's been a lot of holidays. There's been stuff going on, and he hasn't been able to touch it because he's had other things happening. And so he's back, and I'm really pleased to have quite a good conversation with him this week. Great job. We've got an event happening in September, which is a luncheon, but it's aboard a train, which is in Cambridgeshire, and a big thanks to 2 people there, really. One's Nicky Pepper for getting that off the ground, along with a chap called Grant who works at BITC. I'm going to spend a bit more time talking about that later on. But they've got 44 people going on that, 22 businesses and 22 people from the charities and social organisations. So that's going to be a real good kickstart for that event. So big thanks there to those two. A big shout out for Jenny for getting her district kicked off this week. I had a long conversation with Dee in the week as well, D20, and big thanks to her, and also to Lisa, who's innovating as well. I mean, I heard through the grapevine, I'm not going to announce it today, but a new idea for community TV in the area. She's got 7 children. They're all quite keen to know what Mum's up to. I'm just going to leave it hanging there at the moment, but really looking forward to seeing how that matures. A big shout out as well to Mike Bridger. Now, not a lot of people know who Mike is. I have a feeling you will at some point. But Mike hosted his first event on behalf of Southwest Hearts and Alex Murray this week. Did a fantastic job, so big thanks to you, Mike, and well done for stepping up. And there have been a few other people in Watford stepping up this week as well. As Alex approaches the time where he's going to have to go back to college, we've seen people coming out of the woodwork to support and help Southwest Hearts. So that's fantastic news. Big shout out to you actually, Carl, for doing quite an almost unbelievable amount of things in terms of sorting out some of the back end stuff that's been a bit awry. Big thanks for that. I know sometimes when people tell you stuff you've got's a bit crap, it takes a bit of getting used to. But that's the nature of Link4Growth. Link4Growth is about continual improvement. We can't be attached to the way things have been done for the first 2 years. We are eternally grateful to the people that have been involved for 2.5 years, because without their persistence and tenacity, we wouldn't be in the position we are now to grow astronomically. But the systems need to change. They need to grow up and become able to support the speed of growth that Link4Growth is about to achieve. And so we have to revisit these things. We have to look at what we've been doing before. Some of it's still good, some of it maybe need tweaking, and some of it might need changing completely. And we have to be flexible, and we have to be honest, and we have to go about doing these things in a way which supports the teams out there, because it's not, we can't get attached to them. We have to. So thanks for you for pointing some of this stuff out, helping us on this. And I know Deep has been spending time, and Alex and Nikki, and it's just revisiting some of the stuff we're doing to make sure that we're poised with the right professionalism and the right messages going forward, and that's going to be crucial. So to be honest, I've lost touch with a lot of it because I can't be around. I'm just not around, and you've got to start. People have got to step up and take on the responsibility for it, and thankfully they are, which is fantastic. So I think I'm pretty much done on the shout outs. There's just a shout out to everybody involved in Link4Growth, whether you're a visitor, whether you're a subscriber, whether you just attend events, you've been on the training, you are a trainer, you are one of the hosts, one of the teams. Without all of you, Link4Growth would be an idea. But it's now an idea that's starting to be realised, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like you say, it's getting so big now that things do have to change, but also the responsibilities are being widened out, and so that people can step up. But that's a really great thing for people, because when you're in a lot of the organisations out there, are organisations where everybody has a job, but they have to report to somebody. They have to check everything with somebody. Somebody's looking over their shoulder all of the time. I know even when I was in corporate as head of learning and development, you always had that feeling that you didn't have any freedom to be creative with what you were doing. And one of the things I love about Link4Growth is that people can come up with, you mentioned Lisa earlier, and some innovative ideas that we're coming up with for community TV that wouldn't be able to be done in a sort of, let's say, traditional, the norm organisation that people are involved with, because somebody says, no, we don't do it that way, we do it this way. And it's so great for me to be part of something, and for everybody else to be part of something where you can come and you can say, I've got this idea, do you think it will work? And sometimes people will say no, sometimes people say, well, tell us a bit more, and other times people will go, have no idea, go and try it. And everybody's encouraged to go out there and try things, as well as people being encouraged to step up and take responsibility for the things that need to be done in the background as well. And I think that, that is one of the big things that makes Link4Growth so amazing.
Well, I mean, absolutely, and that the only thing we have to realise is that no one's in control. We're all able to contribute, and that's. You can't control stuff. It's a bit chaos theory, really, but you can't control stuff. And I was having conversations over the last couple of days. One of the things that people like about Link4Growth is that we're not trying to homogenise. We're not trying to make it all the same. This is not any town in England type stuff. This is celebrating the diversity that we've got in the country and enabling people to build these districts in a way that suits the people of that area, because there's no other way. Well, there certainly isn't any way, in my opinion, because otherwise it's you trying to dominate other places, and it's just not right. And when we go international, the same thing will apply. The French won't want to do it the English way; they want to do it the French way, whatever that is. And that's right. That's right and proper, and should be allowed to happen exactly that way. Just one last shout out, actually, to skipping back a bit for Tonya. And Tonya's been an absolute firestorm this week up in Redcar, and so much energy and so much. It's just really nice to see people not only stepping up and taking action, but also learning at the same time. And Tonya's made some amazing strides in just a week. When you consider she wasn't even on Twitter earlier in the week because we had the mingle on Monday. What on earth is all that about? Blah blah blah. And then midway through the week, she's on Twitter and she's using it. And so people are growing in Link4Growth, and that's just a great example. And so a lot of respect there for you, Tonya, and a big shout out as well to you for what you've done in the last week. So okay.
So was that the last shout out, or do you want to go back and do some more?
No. I mean, everyone's wonderful.
Okay, so let's move on. Oh gosh, every time I say that now, I think of Alex and me telling him to stop saying moving on, and now I'm picking it up. How about we talk about education updates? What have we got to update on education?
On the education front this week, there's been quite a lot of changes. So one of the things that has been a bit of a technical issue is with regard to the default email addresses for questions and stuff that come through the Eventbrite system. And it's a bit technical. It appears to pick up a standard email account, which is the main one, if you like, for the Eventbrite. And that's caused us some challenges because people have been asking questions about workshops, but they've been not going to the person, i.e. you, that deals with workshops. So the questions can remain unanswered, and it's very unprofessional for us to do that. So we've now set up a separate Eventbrite, which is specifically for the division of Link4Skills of Link4Growth, which is about, it's just about us getting structured for growth. And it's an important move because it allows us to now direct those emails to the right people, and allows us to sort of now position the Link4Skills for what it's destined to be, which is a potentially global education platform. So that's something that's gone on behind the scenes. I know we're migrating at the moment events across onto that. As far as the user is concerned, it doesn't really make much difference. From a searching capability and for people to start to find us with a division which is specifically aimed at education, it improves our profile no end. So hopefully we'll be getting lots more people coming across our events, finding what we're doing, rather than us having to be promoting them all the time. So that's a real big change, and it's a real positive one. And I know you've been involved in that process, so you're pretty well up to speed. But it's an important step for us.
Yeah, it is a very important step for people to really, and like you say, the emails is one of the biggest things, because people emailing the event side when they want to know a question about training, it really makes a lot of sense for them to actually email Link4Skills. And it was also a little bit confusing for some people. I had a couple of people who contacted me and said, I thought I was booking into a Link4Skills workshop, but it says Link4Growth and it's got somebody else's email address. And although they're all part of the organisational email addresses and all go to somebody within Link4Growth, it was creating confusion for people, that they were thinking, but this was Link4Skills, and now I'm seeing that email address. So it's also going to clear up confusion for others, as well as raise our visibility over there. And yeah, I'm setting all of that up at the moment. That should all be migrated over in the next few days, hopefully. And like you say, for the end user, it makes no difference, but for us, and for the fact of the end user not having the confusion anymore, it's going to make a massive difference and really start to brand Link4Skills, which is part of Link4Growth, but as you said there as well, is a pure educational focus, none of the event focus. So it really helps people to understand, and it also helps those people that want to signpost to know what they're signposting to.
Yeah, absolutely right. And also, from an education perspective, as the education requirements start to start to expand, we're going to have to be a lot more clear about the approach, the styles, the different flavors of the education that we've got. So if we want to do like a tutored with if you like comments and questions, or maybe it's more of a higher ticket price one because we've got people actually inside the hangout, or whether it's one-to-one. There's all sorts of different types, and we need to be quite clear about that. And the point on this is as we now expand the volume of trainings that we do, we are going to need more trainers, because certainly for the Foundation Engagement Program, because ultimately those are about getting the people that are coming into Link4Growth able to participate more effectively, faster, and they don't want to hang around for a workshop for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They want, we need to have those things happening more often. So we're going to be looking at, we are expanding the teams, and no announcements to be made yet, but we are expanding the team of trainers, and we will continue to do so because we need to.
Yeah. Exactly. All good stuff. The more we expand our team, the more people out there that we can help as well.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Anything else you want to say on up education updates, or are you ready to move on to pins?
I just want to say one thing. We've got, I think it's on the 9th, I think it's the Twitter Hootsuite Connect with Intent half-day workshop. If you're using Twitter and you're not quite sure why, you keep hearing about Hootsuite, but you're not quite sure what it is, and you want to try and make more use of Twitter in a strategic way, do book yourself into that workshop, because it's amazing and you will absolutely blow your mind about what you can do with Twitter. You'll be saying to yourself, why has no one told me this before? Why have I been left thinking that I'm not interested in whether you're having a banana and a coffee? Why is, if that's all Twitter is, then it's not for me. I tell you, get yourself on the workshop, you'll be so amazed. 16 reasons for using Twitter at the last count.
Cool.
Okay, so should we head on to pins?
Yep, let's talk about pins. I don't have mine on me today, I've just remembered.
Yeah, no worries. Well, Paul Violet's back. He always had a pin earmarked for him, but I was pleasantly able to give it to him this week with a big smile and a big thanks. So amazing, and I will be putting up the reasons why Paul has been acknowledged with the pin this week. In fact, I might put it up after this show. But as soon as I'd given Paul some pins, he was out giving them out himself. So he's given 3 pins out this week, and he's given one to Fiona Flaherty, one to Deborah Oakerby, and one to Jane Walker. And these are the 3 ladies that look after Chingford. Now, it's not just because they're running that group that he's given them a pin. They were at a business jobs fair for a whole day with Link4Growth, gave their entire day up, just all three of them to be there talking about Link4Growth with people that were going there. They were also outside Tesco's for a day with a Link4Growth banner talking to people going into Tesco's about Link4Growth. And I think they've done a business exhibition where they had their own businesses there, but they also had the Link4Growth banner and the Link4Growth flyers on the table, and were talking to people about Link4Growth. So they really have put themselves out for Link4Growth, and it was for these reasons that Paul gave them their pins. So very many congratulations to all three of them.
That sounds absolutely awesome, and it gives other people that are listening ideas, because as you were saying, they stood outside Tesco's, and my brain's sort of going, of course, what a perfect idea. Go where the local community is congregating without even trying to congregate, and talk to them.
Absolutely. People asking them, what's this Link4Growth all about? You know, while they're outside having a cigarette, you know, whatever.
Back in the trolleys.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's pins this week, and I've still got a couple of testimonial pins to put up there as well. So I will be getting those up there. And if any of you district leaders out there have actually awarded a pin that I don't know about, then please do post up there a testimonial, because I probably won't know about them all.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look. I mean, you've probably covered a lot of this, but we normally talk about highlights. Are there highlights that you haven't covered yet?
There are actually. I just want to say what an amazing luncheon. We had a CSR lunch yesterday in Watford, in Rickmansworth, Watford, and it's almost like that one's turned the corner, because we've been having. It was quite heavily promoted before, and we've had the MP for Watford along and the Mayor of Watford along, and the numbers go up and then they go down and everything else. But actually yesterday there was a fantastic mix of people from all walks of life, mixture of really good mixture of business people and charities and social organisations. People from the waterways was there, people who do video, people who are working with charities, people who are quite involved in community, people who are running museums in Watford and Rickmansworth, people who have been leading the council, all sorts of people there, and it was just a fabulous 2 hours of conversation and connecting, and so much energy. I feel we've really turned the corner with that one, and so that was a real highlight for the week. I also really had a great time over at Chingford this week. Two of the Chingford three, as it were, weren't there. Paul was there and I was there, and actually there were people there that totally got Link4Growth, and now are saying we want to put time in, we want to help this fabulous idea, this concept, and we want to get something going in our area. So that was it wasn't just one, it was 2 or 3 people, and they were deadly serious about moving stuff on. So it was a really good fun. I had a fantastic time up at Peterborough at the. This is one of the first events in the Cambridgeshire district, and it always has a good turnout. This Wednesday just gone was no exception, and I had a good chat with Grant, who is the BITC connector. He's a connector from what's the organisation? Argos, I think it is, and he's been working with Nikki on this train thing. We had a really good conversation about Link4Growth and how the BITC connectors and us can work together, and what the challenges are in that collaboration, which I'll talk a little bit later about. But it's a really good event, and lots of buzz in the room, lots of interesting people. There's a potential person there for TV up there who I'm going to nurture. So a really good event. I'm really pleased because I hadn't been there I haven't been to an event in Cambridgeshire for 2 or 3 months. So it was really nice to get back up there and say hi to all those people. So it's a real highlight for me. And a real highlight as well is, I think it was Wednesday, I just kept getting email after email after email, Alison, can you set up this new event? Alison, can you set up this new event? Alison, can you set up this new event? And it went on all day. There must have been 7 or 8 events set up, and it was just, what is going on here? As things just started, it's really fantastic. So, I mean, the pace and the energy out there at the moment is absolutely amazing. And for me, that has been a real highlight of the week, and the recognition that this is way beyond the scope of a human brain anymore. This has got to be a combination of many human brains to make sure that we're keeping this thing going at a million miles an hour in the right direction. So massive highlights for me this week, those.
Yeah, certainly makes your head sort of spin just listening to all of those things. Now, we were going to talk about subscriptions next, but you've just been talking about some collaborative stuff, so maybe we should go into the collaborations at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, there's I want to just do a spotlight on BITC, because the BITC, I did talk about this a few news updates a while ago, but BIT is business in the community. These are people that are seconded for a year from corporate organisations like Lloyd's, Sainsbury's, Greggs, Argos, even people like the port or harbour authorities, big organisations, and they basically completely fund the person to go into the community and start to build relationships between business and the community organisations that need help and support. So, bearing that in mind, it's incredibly aligned to what Link4Growth is about. The challenge is they're only there for a year, so they've got 3 months to get their feet under the table. 3 months they're kind of working out how they're going to be re-entering the workplace where they've been funded from, and there's that 6 month window in the middle where they're able to do loads of good work. And Link4Growth provides if you like, a transitional opportunity to fire them up quickly with local connections, because we've made loads, but also to take those connections when they're moving back into corporate and continue them until perhaps the next BITC connector comes along, because there might not be one stops and one starts. It might be 6 months, 3 months, 4 months gap in the middle. And so Link4Growth provides an opportunity for them to park those things and continue them on, so that when the new person comes on board, we can get them up to speed really quickly. And some stay a bit longer than a year. I think Grant's going to have done 18 months, but he goes back in March, for example. So all this good work that's been going on has to be continued. There has to be a continuation program. And it's funded by the big lottery, BITC. So, and there are some core people who work with about 12 to 15 of these connectors. And one of them is a lady called Rosie Garwood. And Rosie looks after, if you like, up to Loughborough and all the way down to sort of Watford area. So she's got a massive territory. But she's an old Twitter friend of Nikki Pepper's. And it just goes to show that once Nikki was involved in Link4Growth, she was able to continue that conversation with Rosie, and then they met up because there seemed like a lot of synergy between the two organisations. And the rest is history, really. There are BITC connectors in Newcastle, there are BITC connectors in Derbyshire, there's the BITC connectors here in London, in Cambridge. They're all over the place, and there really are good people that are so aligned to what we're doing. If I encourage all of you out there to go find the connector. They've got a website. You can go there. You can find a connector near you. I know that Damien Elson has found some in the Bradford area and the Halifax area. So go track them down. We've got a lot of synergy, and so that's, if you like, my featured collaboration for this week.
Cool. And that is, because some people, let's looking at the traditional way of people doing business and connecting out there, a lot of organisations would never say, oh, there's this other organisation who are doing similar to what we're doing, go and connect with them. Most people it'd be, oh, they're doing what we're doing, they're our competition, we don't want to know them, we need to block those out. And that again is a really great example of how Link4Growth is more of an umbrella across the top of everything that's already happening in a local community and things that will come into local communities, and actually encourage the collaboration between different organisations and between Link4Growth and those organisations.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's loads of people doing good work out there. You know, we mentioned, I think last week, Street Life. Street Life on paper looks like it's doing something similar to Link4Growth. It's not. It's bringing local people together, which is needed. It's a great platform. And one of the people that came along to the Watford market this morning discovered us on Street Life. Because Alex had posted something up there, and she came along and loved Link4Growth and is likely to get more involved. So it does work.
Yeah, exactly. So now we'll go back on my little list of our agenda today, and we'll talk about subscriptions.
Yeah, now this is a really important thing. As we've been growing, as people have been excited to become part of Link4Growth, one of the things has been the challenge of being able to get people through the technology and being able to subscribe, and that's, you know, and you know, you need telling a few times, but when someone says, if you don't sort this out, I'm going to cut your head off, you need to take action. And we have simplified the process, but it's not yet simplified to it's down to the level it needs to be. And the challenge is that some people find Link4Growth and want to register, and that's all they want to do. But other people get directed to Link4Growth and say, go there, register and subscribe. So they're going there to subscribe, and the reason they're not really bothered about all the text and reasons why. They've been told, or they've said, I want to subscribe and get on with it. So people find Link4Growth and they come there with different questions that need answering. At the moment, it's not answering all the questions in the right way, and it might. So we need to have a process which enables people to take a shortcut, or people who can take the long route. And it just needs a bit of thinking through. But just to let everyone know, we are working on it. We have simplified it a bit, but there's still work in progress. So bear with us as we do it. But it's going to be sorted over the next week.
That is really good news, not only for me, and I don't do a lot of subscriptions or anything, but I have been talking to people who have, and I wasn't the one, by the way, that said I was going to cut Chris's head off, but I have been quite sort of kicking him this week because I set up an account to be able to go through and walk through the process, and I'm incredibly techified. You know, I spend my life on computers, and it drove me nuts. So I am really, really glad that is. I know it's better than it was, but I'm really glad to hear you say officially, with all these witnesses that are listening, that it is going to get even better and even more simplified.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking someone, you want someone to go through the process of registration and subscription, it might be that there is an email that you send someone that's got the process in with the right links, and they can just follow the email to the end, and that will have completed the process. And it might be that that's as technical as it needs to get, but we do need a methodology for delivering in all of the ways that people will find Link4Growth and want to take them on, that want to start their journey, however that, you know, whatever that is. So it is important. So we are working on it. So
good stuff. You've spoken about a lot of events already. Have you got any other updates you want to share this week?
Yeah, I don't want to. There's too many events for us to cover this on this show these days. But yeah, the events are all on. They're all on the website. You can get them through there, or you can search them up on Eventbrite, or you can go through the district pages and find the events in your area. But one of the things I wanted to just mention this week was that, you know, we are aware that the text on some of the events, because of the replication nature of it and because of the legacy and everything else, we are getting to the point now where we need to improve the quality of the text that's relating to each event to make it absolutely pucker. But also, some events are totally free, i.e. the coffee's free, the venue's free. Other events, people ask for donation towards the coffee, so you can put £1 in or £5 in, it's up to you. Others, we have coffee stations where we pay £3 and you get as many coffees as you want. Other times it's a situation where you pay as you go, so you come along and you order a latte, you pay for it, and it's done in that way. The events have somehow managed to get out of kilter with what's actually happening on the ground. So we are addressing that, and you're helping us with that. But it needs to be sorted out. because actually we're not telling the truth. And when you get someone come up to you and say, yeah, here's my £3, and you say, why are you giving me £3? Well, that's what it says on the website. It says it's £3, and it's like, well, actually we're Regius, it's totally free, but we've copied the text from another event which was £3 as a contribution to the coffee. So we've got to get that tidied up. It applies to some of the other events as well. We've just got to make that happen, because otherwise we're just going to replicate rubbish, and we're just going to get out of control, because it's not going to be long before it's 100 events a month. And at that level, it becomes more of a challenge to get it fixed. And we need to get it fixed now, so that we don't continue replicating rubbish and making the situation worse.
Yeah, exactly. And I know I was one of the ones that saw some of those and thought, well, what's going on here? Because some have been copied with the information. So we're actually going to make that not a different, but we're going to extend the process for the people that are asking for events to be put up, so that as they ask for them, their form is going to have more information on there. So we make sure that the information sent in to the person who is actually putting them on Eventbrite is very clear, and they know which they can copy and which they have to edit and tweak, so that it makes it a lot simpler, rather than one is copied over and then the person who's holding the event goes, oh, but that's not right. Well, they didn't tell the other person, and you get this confusion coming in. So we're actually going to simplify the procedure, so that the people asking for events, the district leaders, the community hosts, community leaders, will actually be able to make sure that the information they send in is incredibly clear for the people that are working in the background, doing all the hard work of putting them up there as well.
Absolutely. So having said that all the events are on the website, I'm actually going to be out and about quite a bit this week myself. So if you're in Farnham, you can catch me down there Monday morning. I'm going to be at the launch of the L4G Curry in Watford on Monday evening. Tuesday I'm going to be up in Nuneaton and Bedworth up in the Midlands, and then I'm back into central London for Piccadilly drinks in the evening. On Wednesday I'm going to be in Luton at the coffee, so I'm up there, Regis in Capability Park. And then on Thursday I'm going to the Walthamstow launch, and then heading up the A1 to Newcastle. And then Friday, there's nothing on actually on Friday, so second Friday of the month, teams, there's nothing on. What's that all about?
So another really busy week, and I think I'm coming up with you to the Newcastle one, which I'm really looking forward to, another new launch as well. And just before we move on to announcements, the Watford Women's Centre have put a message in to say that they really agree with the BICT. Sarah Chalk, their connector in Watford, has been a great help to them. So that's somebody who's actually connected with them outside of Link4Growth, who are saying, yes, they really are very, very helpful. Do connect with them.
Absolutely right. I know they've done. She's done quite a lot of good work in connecting people to. I think the Watford Women's Centre got connected with someone that did a video for them for their website. So they do help an awful lot, and it's well worth connecting if you've got one in your area.
Cool stuff. So before we close down for the day, announcements. What are you going to announce this week, Chris?
Right, well, I'm going to just remind people of the cookbook. I met someone in Peterborough who actually cooks curries for businesses. So we're going to have a curry in the cookbook, which is going to be awesome. So if you like curry, you're going to be able to pick up a recipe there or two. The first batch of 100 books I'm expecting to take delivery this week, the L4G book, the Link4Growth book. And somehow my book has gone missing. My book that I bought has gone. It was at the lunch yesterday and it's gone. So if anybody knows where my book is, please return it to the owner. I phoned the restaurant, they don't have it. So that was a dead duck. But anyway, I'll have a lot of them. So I'm hoping that I've had them this week, early in the week, so I can start taking them around with me during the week and dropping them off with the right people. What else have I got to say? Right. And the last thing I'm going to say is about this show. And and I've been ribbed this week quite extensively. Oh, you're doing the show again this week. I thought you'd stop in and all this. Whether that was a desire to shut me up or not be on the show or not, I don't know. However, I've kind of listened to what people have said, and the show is going to be once a month. It's going to be on the first Saturday of the month, and it's going to be at the same time, but it's going to be an extended one, not much extended because we're already at 45 minutes, but it's going to be at least an hour. It may have guests, but it's going to be an opportunity for me to report in what's happened nationally once a month, and collect that information over the month from the people out there that are actually out there working the districts. So they've got a place to put that information for me to then tell everybody about it. So I'm putting the onus back on the district leaders. It's your responsibility to tell me what's going on and what you want on this news. It's not my responsibility to find out and interrogate you. So that's the news on this. I won't be here for the next 3 Saturdays, and all you, Cal, but the fourth Saturday I will be. It won't be the same every time because it depends what's happened. And if it requires someone to come on and do a bit of explanation, then so be it. And if they're available, then they can come and do that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be, it sounds like it's going to be a really great format because it's going to sort of take away the, every week Chris talks about the same stuff. It means that the district leaders, because obviously they have their community TV, which is a weekly update, so people can, in the local areas, can get their own information from the district leaders and the community TV as that builds and grows. And it also means that things that are of national interest to people, the district leaders can let you have that information. The onus, as you say, is on them, but they will give you this. Say, look, this is something that we would like to share with everybody. We don't just want to keep it as a little local thing. We want to make sure that it goes across and everybody knows about it. So I think the dynamics of that show and bringing guests on or people who want to come on and actually share what it is that you're sharing, but they come on and share it themselves, is also going to be really great for the energy of the show as well, because there'll be different people, slightly different information, and it will be something that will be of interest to everybody. I'm not saying that the current ones aren't, but something that is going to be different and more, they won't quite know what's going to come on the show, so they're going to be looking and thinking, oh, I wonder what's coming this month.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that this one's every week, it means that it's of less significance, really. So I think putting the onus back on the district leaders to either establish the channel or find someone to do the TV locally and to disseminate this information in this way, because obviously we disseminate information about what's going on in a variety of ways, but to enable people to actually sit there and have this on in the background or watching catch-up mode later on is just one way people want to consume information. So having that available locally, and also there'll be a huge diverse range of different things that people are doing on those TV platforms, which, like youth TV and maybe interesting, a history channel for the local area. There's so much that could be done through that TV channel, but it's localized. That has no business in an L4G TV at a national level. This is about what's going on and around the country. And if like a history TV channel became really, really popular, then it's sensible for other people to be able to tap into that and find out how that was done and maybe talk to the people that have done it. And so that is nationally relevant, and it might be something that we'd put in the show. But you don't want to talk about it every week, and certainly not on a national level. And because it's only every once a month, it's like there should be more people interested to tune in because it's less time, and it's going to be, it's just not going to be boring because you haven't had one for 3 and 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I believe, this isn't an announcement or an update, but I believe that you will be having better connectivity finally when we get round to that, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't placed the order yet. but it has to happen. It has to happen because, okay, I'm going to be doing less TV, but I might be invited onto other shows as well. That'd be nice, onto a district show and stuff like that. So if I am, then it would be great to have decent, decent connectivity for that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Less TV but higher quality.
Yeah, I'm all for that. Don't even have a TV, so.
Okay, so is there anything else that you want to mention before we say goodbye to everybody?
No, I think I'm all done, to be honest. It's been a long show today, but quite a lot to get in. But you've got to wait another 4 weeks for one. So.
Okay, so that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and you will see the next Link4Growth national TV show in 4 weeks' time.
Absolutely.